Well, the tri-state has seen a number of children with autism die after wandering from their homes, drowning in retention ponds nearby that they're able to reach with little difficulty. Now, one local group is pushing to make a change to help protect these children. So joining me now is Leslie Williams and Charlie Watson, both with Empath for Autism, as well as Jagger, so you may recognize him. We've talked a lot about JAG tags, and we're going to get to those in just a couple minutes. So thank you all three for coming in this morning, especially for such a serious and important topic for our community, because we've really been talking a lot lately about a lot of drownings that have happened as far back as Joshua Al-Latif, and then just, you know, I think it was last week or the week before we lost Jenny Dim in Florence due to these retention ponds and the easy access. So when you hear these kinds of stories, how big an issue is this for those in the autism community to have to be concerned about?
Well, it's a really big issue. First of all, I just do want to say, you know, our hearts go out to the families that have lost their children in these kind of drowning accidents. It happens way more often than it should. And so, you know, Empath right now is trying to develop, we have a 3-point system that we're trying to you know, help people get their families prepared in the event that something like this happens. Children that are on the spectrum are 160 times more likely to drown in an accident than their neurotypical peers, which shows that there really is a need and an issue that we need to address, especially with, you know, just the adaptive swim. If you do have a child that's diagnosed, it is very important that you get your child into adaptive swim lessons. Also, you know, have an emergency plan. So in the event that your child does go missing, you know exactly where the bodies of water are, because they're always going to go to the bodies of water. You know, search water first, and then, you know, get your first responders that are in your area involved, and your neighbors and things like that. I mean, there's a bunch of things that you can do, and it's all about educating yourself.
You were talking about searching the bodies of water. For those who aren't familiar, children with autism are drawn to bodies of water.
They absolutely are, because they really get a lot of sensory input out of the water. The way that it moves, the way that it sounds, the compression that it feels on their body provides a lot of comfort that way. And then they're not aware of the danger that's involved. They will see it and they'll be attracted to it. And then once you're in a retention pond, I don't know if you have seen them, but they are straight down. There's no way of getting out, especially if you don't have the adaptive swim safety skills that it's necessary in order to get yourself to safety.
You mentioned that 3-point plan. So education, obviously. Where does it go from there?
We also have the JAG tags that we're getting ready to launch, and I'll let Charlie talk about that a little bit.
So in the 3 points is education, technology, and then policy and public safety, which brings in the petition. But the version 2 of the JAG tags coming out, and that is a wearable band that helps parents track a lost child. And the version 2 brings 2 big changes, which are a locking band, because a lot of children with autism will throw something off if you put it on them. And then actually was recommended to us by first responders as a QR code that you can scan. That'll give first responders emergency contact information and notify the caregiver immediately.
We're looking at a video of the JAG tag right now on your screen. So this was version 2, and I know you just mentioned all the things that hit on, but you had great response when you came out with even version 1.
Right.
Just kind of shows the need for all this. So as you continue to raise education, you talked about the policy part of it as well. Where does that fit in?
Yeah, so the big thing that we're trying to do is this petition. Ever since the last weekend where we had the drowning, we've had over 2,500 signatures on the petition to try and bring change. Now, we're not logistics people. We don't know the exact plan, or what we need to do is get attention on the matter. We know that there needs to be change. So whether that's fences, technology, there has to be some type of deterrent to keep the kids away from the water.
You know, obviously signing the petition is a great start, but when people are hearing this and they're seeing the impact that it's having in our community, the children whose lives we're losing so early and so unnecessarily, how can people get involved? How can people help in the mission to raise awareness and save these children?
I think that one thing that we need to do is just make sure that people know we're not trying to fence every single body of water. That's not realistic. We really want to pay attention to the ones that are just easily accessible to children that are on the spectrum, you know, such being around apartment buildings or even schools, daycares, things like that. That way we can, you know, put another added layer of safety around these areas. And then also just like putting the petition out there, you know, just educate yourself. If you have no idea anything about autism, just learn a little bit about it and see how attracted they are and see what the statistics are. I'm sorry, and that's hard for me to say this morning. But yes, you know, of all the children that are autistic, 50% of those do have a tendency to elope, which is wandering from a safe environment. And of those 50% that wander, 87 to 91% of them end up in a drowning accident. The statistics are there. The numbers are there. Just do the research and see, you know, what else you can do and just learn a little bit about it.
Are always armed with so much great information. If people want to reach out to you and learn more, how can they find you?
Empath
So
for Autism.
yeah, empathforautism.com, soon to be empathforautism.org, and then we're on every major social platform.
Awesome. Thank you all three for coming in today.
Thank
we
you for
really
having
appreciate
us.
it.
Thank
Such
you
a
so
serious
much.
and important
Thank you.
topic. All right. So